Hi, welcome to Spiritual Connections, Tarot, etc. My name is Laura, and today we're going to be talking about the Morrigan. Now, if you're not familiar with the Morrigan, she is known as the Irish goddess of war, death, and destruction, as well as new beginnings. She is also known as a healer, part of the Fae, which is a fairy, and she's an Irish goddess and a legend. Some even call her the Phantom Queen, which describes her relationship with the dead. I guess there's a war in like the fairy world or something. I don't quite understand, and I've done some research. There was a war going on, battleground, and she could predict accurately what was going to happen, who was going to die, how they were going to die. She was very psychic in her abilities, and people went to her, but not without a price. So she's also known as a shapeshifter. Ravens and crows are around her all the time. So she's a shapeshifter that took many forms. The most common ones are the Old Crone, a battle-ready warrior, and an old raven. In fact, I actually saw her. She's the type of energy where it's go big or go home, and that she did. Back in December of 2020, I was going to get my Reiki master because I work for myself, and I thought, I might as well get my master's. So I went to my Reiki master's home, and she's also a psychic medium. And when the ceremony of Reiki was over, I had a veil over me. And it's a veil where you could kind of see through it, but Irish druids, I guess, would use a veil all the time when they did ceremonies, so that's why she did it. She was sitting across the room from me, and she was actually facing this direction. When she was sitting across from me, there was a woman, and she turned and she looked at me, and it wasn't my Reiki master. It was the Morrigan, and she was wearing completely different clothes than my Reiki master was wearing. She had like long black hair, youthful. She looked to be in her 40s, early 40s. Pale Irish skin, right? She had like a long black veil, went all the way down to the floor. She was sitting down, and she had a black skirt, a black shirt. She was dressed in black as if she was mourning or something. She was looking at me, and I wasn't wearing my glasses. So when I first looked up and took my veil off, because I asked my Reiki master if I could, I first looked up, and I looked up, and I did a double take because I was not my Reiki master. It was not what she was wearing. It's not what she looked like. So when I looked up after I took off my veil, I did a double take because at first I realized it wasn't my Reiki master. And then I thought, well, maybe that's just my imagination, because I wasn't wearing my glasses, and I need my glasses to be able to see at a distance. So I put my glasses on, and I did another double take. She was very serious in her expression, and she looked at me kind of like this, like she was eyeing me a bit. And telepathically, I could hear her say to me, "Are you okay? Don't be afraid. I'm just here because you're a healer, and I only go to really powerful healers. That's why I'm here. I'm not here to harm you." And then with that, she just kind of disappeared back into my Reiki master. And my Reiki master was still facing in that direction, not that direction. And she goes, "Are you okay?" And I said, "I'm okay, but I don't think I saw you. You're wearing the same type of clothes, but it was a different color, and the hair was different, and this and that." And so she explained to me, okay, well, you already had your first meditation, and you saw an older woman with long white hair. And now you see, and I explained to her what I saw. She goes, "Okay, yeah, so that's the Morrigan, known as Morgana." She explained to me that she was a goddess of war, and she explained to me that she actually called upon her a while ago. Maha, spelled capital M-A-C-H-A, was the old blonde lady that I saw. And Beve, spelled capital B-A-D-B, was the one that had the long black hair that I had seen when she shapeshifted. They is the goddess of battle. Maha, spelled capital M-A-C-H-A, is the goddess of land and sovereignty, and she can sometimes be seen riding a horse. So if you ever see the three entities, you're likely to see her as the one riding a horse. Nevan, spelled capital N-E-M-A-I-N. That's the one that can be mistaken for the banshee, because it is said that her shrieks would incite terror, so much so that people would die from the huge sense of panic. It's pretty intense. I actually Googled Nevan and the banshee, and it seems as if they're not the same thing, even though I think they're easily mistaken to this day as the same thing. Today, people can call on the Morrigan for protection against an injustice or one that involves an injustice with violence against women. She can help us when we need healing for ourselves because she was also a healer. That being said, please do not invoke her if you do not know exactly what you're doing, because she was a darker energy. She doesn't like when people waste her time. So if you're going to ask her to come in, you better make sure you know exactly what it is that you want. And I think that's about it. Thank you so much for liking, watching, and subscribing. Please comment down below if you know anything about Irish folklore, and especially if you're from Ireland, you'll know more than I do. So feel free to correct me on anything that I've missed.